Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so we got a new update, something about the attribute tree grounds, the epic raid, and the limit breaker quest. But I want to quickly tell you that we do have 10 free multis. Go and do them. I will do that as soon as the game loads. Thank you. And let's see if we can get anything new. I don't think I can get anything new actually, but I think I want a Valentine's Day Veruca dupe, and that's about it. Ooh, 5-star. Okay, okay. Already a W. Okay, well, I don't need her. I don't need her. I needed her for the longest time, and then I've kept on getting her like 10 times over, so don't need that. But oh well, free multi, don't care too much. But yeah, I'll probably do who you can use in the limit breaker quest, by the way, in its own separate video later today. But yeah, let's just go ahead and do this. So, version 16.5.2 update, single player quest. Oh, this is literally it? This is it? Oh, okay. I thought it would be a whole thing, but it's not. Okay, what's the attribute tree? What is the attribute tree? It's just a new attribute tree. Okay, so it's the exact same thing, except the filler is a bit different, or not the filler, the bonuses. Sun, Mila Rose, Apache, Holly Bell Stark, and then these characters. And literally all the filler from the end of month banner. Okay. That's whatever. So I guess this will end up just being a limit breaker quest video. Okay, okay. Alright, so this is just going to be a limit breaker quest video. My bad. I thought that there was going to be way more news, but I guess I should have looked into it a little bit more. Oopsies. But it'll be here on the 1st. And let's see just who we're going to have to use. So, slot 1, it's going to be hollow enemies, or and they're going to be speed. You're going to want to use a technique character, damage times 2, and then melee damage times 2.5. So, I feel like this is making it so you can't use Gremmy. I wonder? I feel like Gremmy should still be usable. But the fact that it's 2.5, I think they really just don't want you to have a great time with Gremmy is my guess. Because he has all of these requirements except for the melee damage. And then there's poison on the ground. So yeah, obviously this is meant for the new Sun. We'll have to wait to see how she does. I assume she'll be fine if you do summon, but I don't think you need her. And then slot 2, human enemies, a mind. Their mind, heart attribute damage times 2, range damage times 2, and then killer effect times 4. And then there's freeze on the ground. In the live stream, or not the live stream, the showcase that they did for the new end of month banner, they did show Byakuya and Ichigo in slot 2 and 3. The end of year Ichigo was in slot 3, so killer effect times 3. The enemies are mind, and then there are Quincy's. So yeah, pretty much basically made for Sun, Thousand Year Blower, Heart, Byakuya, and then the end of year Ichigo. So let's go check out and see just who we could possibly use for slot 1, 2, and 3 for any sort of replacements. Kind of interesting to see how the melee damage times 2.5 does, if range characters could even work. I assume you can, but it's just interesting. Alright, so I had the game sorted by melee, hollow, technique killers, and you have Yaturu Unohana from Safway, or Spirit Safway with you, and I'm not gonna lie, that's kinda curious. Maybe if you have her 5-5, maybe she could do well. I'm kinda doubting it. You have the full bring Ichigo. Hey yo, guys. Might be meta, but yeah, it doesn't look like, outside of Sun, there isn't really much options in this area, so that is kind of unfortunate. Let's go away and take away melee, because obviously, and now we have Gremmy and Quincy Ichigo. And I guess Roka, if you want to try her, I just never really think that she's that great, so I never ever recommend her. And I also feel like hardly anybody summoned for her, so you know, I just don't think she's that worth it. But these two are pretty good, since they're all technique. Ichigo has a increased chance against them. What does he have? He has the team recharge for technique characters, which I guess would only end up being him most likely, so it's whatever. 20% bruiser, 40 berserker, 20% full stam. He has damage to he has weakening and drain on all of the strong attacks, increased chance, 20% more technique character strong attack damage, and 80% SP boost. So I mean, good character. Oh, I thought I had my face come on for a second. That would have been terrible. But the main prize, obviously, for slot 1 is going to be Remy, most likely. He'll probably be the second best slot. Paralysis and Drain is just a super strong combo. He has 70% Berserker. Complete status immunity, so you don't have to worry about any status summons. Increased Quincy strong attack damage by 20%. So, Ishin is not a Quincy. Why am I thinking that? I was gonna say, dang, this buffs Ishin too, but no, no, he's not. He has Frenzy 3, Bombardment, increased chance against Hollows. He has weakened defense on his Soul Bomb, and then he increases the damage by 30%, and then he has an extra 80% SP boost. So yeah, he's gonna be very good. I don't think he's ever gonna get power crept until like 10th Annie in terms of like Limit Breaker quest. So yeah, probably Gremmy is gonna be your main. But let's say, let's go with Melee and then take off Hollow Killer, since Melee got the huge buff. So you could just use like any Melee tech character, you know, maybe if you don't have Gremmy or Sun. So like Driscoll, Lil Toto, maybe Bambietta, Ichibei, and then I think that's as far as I'll go. Even then, I don't think Ichibei is that great, because he basically needs every single rule to be good, because of how his damage works. He has like no damage before his gauge, and then he has good damage with gauge, so I don't know. I don't think he's going to be all that great, but honestly, I feel like Driscoll might do pretty well because he has so much stuff meant for a Limit Break request. He has the enemy defeater bonus where you get increased melee damage, Berserker, and then more devastation for the Soul Bomb. His last rate plus on all of his strong attacks. And then he doesn't have poison resistance, because I'm pretty sure that that's what the status on the ground was, poison, for slot 1. So keep that in mind. He has a 50% Berserker, 14% recharge, Rampage of 2%, so every single kill you get an extra 2% damage. He has Frenzy 2, increased status summon chance against humans, weakened defense, and then an SP boost. So yeah, I think he might be a pretty good option. But I guess let's just go for just melee hollow killers, no technique. So right here we have Mugetsu, Kangdu, Yuha, and Bruno. And if you really want to try it, Power Yama. Every time I see Yuha and people try him, he does terrible even when he has a few rules. You basically need like every rule for him, it seems like, which is kind of unfortunate for him to do anything. And then Mugetsu, he doesn't have debilitators, so his weakening doesn't last that long. So if you don't one-shot, it's kind of iffy. So keep that in mind. And then Yama just never procs. Kangdu's fine. He's fine, I guess. But these other two are most likely better. And the enemies are tech. Or no, they're speed. They're speed. My bad. So I guess he'll be type neutral. So that also hinders Mugetsu quite a bit. And Yama. And then Bruno, he's just a gauge character. And I really don't like gauge characters unless they have every single rule meant for them. I just don't really like Bruno that much. So try your best with who you got. These are some good characters still, but you are probably going to struggle with all of these characters unless maybe they're 5/5. And then let's go to slot 2 now. So if you go Heart, Human, Ranged. Okay, so we do have Curio, but like, come on now. And Byakuya. Obviously, Byakuya is meant for it. He is getting a rerun in a few days' time. It was speculated and then leaked in the Spite server. So he should be rerunning then. So that's up to you if you want to summon. I'll probably do a video when we get the actual filler. But yeah, he has Human Killer Plus, recharge of 14%, weakening and paralysis on all of his strong attacks. He also has an EX skill. Also, Gremmy also had an EX skill where he got the 30% boost and debuff. And then Driscoll had a EX skill, I thought. Maybe I'm being crazy, actually. Maybe he doesn't. I thought he got the Ichigo boost, but no, he didn't. No, he didn't. 40% full stamina damage only, or strong attack damage when you're at full stamina only. 60% berserker. Complete status immunity, frenzy of 2, bombardment +1, debilitator of 5 seconds, increased chance against humans, increased soul reaper damage to status and unaffected enemies of 30%. So if you're using Ichigo in slot 3, this would be a very good buff for him. Weakened defense, and then you have an SP boost of 80%. So yeah, Byakuya is an absolutely insane character, especially for Limit Break request. So I kind of wish he had like Last Rate or something to do some damage over time, but he's still an absolutely phenomenal character. So let's go ahead and take off the ranged, and let's see who we... Okay, there's literally nobody. My bad. Keep on ranged. And let's take off the human killers, so any heart range characters. So you have Hollow Bankai Toshiro, and you have Veruca. That's pretty much it. I guess you could try Noelle, but I think she's just a bit outdated. She's basically like Power Yama, and I also don't think Power Yama is that insane in the meta anymore, unless they're 5-5. So keep that in mind. Hollow Bankai Tosh, he is good. Where's my cursor? There it is. Hollow Bankai Toshiro, he is good. He just doesn't have Killer Plus, but since he's not going to have Killer, I guess that doesn't really matter that much. Strong attack damage of 20%, strong attack recharge of 12% as well for his soul trait. He has freeze on all of his strong attacks, so if you do inflict freeze on like the poison enemies, that's pretty good. Keep them in place, stay safe. He has a berserker of 70%, complete status immunity, frenzy +2, bombardment, increased chance, but that doesn't matter. He has increased heart attribute soul reaper damage to status ailment affected enemies of 40%, damage to enemies of 100%, weakened defense, and then he has an SP boost to 80%. So he is a hard hitter, but he's definitely going to have to inflict status elements, and without Killer, it's going to be a bit tedious to say the least. And then Veruca, I just think she's fine. She's fine as is. 30% full stamina as a soul trait. Berserker, she has the enemy defeated bonus. 20% Berserker after 10 enemies defeated. 20% more full stamina after 25 enemies. And then 50 enemies, you get Team Party, increased strong attack damage by 20%. You also give your team stamina recovery, which is pretty nice. Increased strong attack damage of 20%, or 40%, I can't read. So that's Berserker, and that's her soul trait, never mind. Fire resistance, which I don't think that's the right status element on the ground, so be wary of that. She has Frenzy of 2, weakened defense, and then an SP boost of 80%. So yeah, she's fine. I just feel like she lacks a little bit of DPS to stand up against like Byakuya or Toshiro. But now let's just go to human ranged. Is there anybody? Not really. Like, I guess there is Quincy Ichigo, so we've already went over him. He's decent. And then Balgo. That's about it, though. These characters are nads, and I don't really recommend using them at all. So let's just go for, like, human killer. Who do we have? We do have Soifon. I don't know if they have guard. If they do have guard, which I think human enemies don't, so maybe Soifon would work. Maybe there's a chance, and that's pretty much the only character here that's like decent. I guess there's also Driscoll. There is also Driscoll. He would have killer here, so he'd have the increased chance. Same as Soifon. So these two actually might be pretty decent options to try out in this selection if you don't have Byakuya, because it's basically Byakuya or these two, if I had to guess. Heart range characters, did we already do this? Yeah, we literally did that. So then I guess you could just go to heart, but then you're just like really low on options like Ichigo, but he's probably going to be slot 3. I mean, to be fair, you could use Ichigo in slot 2. Try your luck, and then... Wait, did I click melee? No, heart, okay. Use Ichigo slot 2, and then if you have 1000 or lower power or Mind Ishin, you can use Ishin in slot 3, because I feel like he'll still do well. He just wouldn't have attribute advantage, but that's fine. So, I don't know. It might work. It might work. But, yeah, it's basically the same characters that we've already went over, except for, like, True Shikai Ichigo. That's, like, the only one. So, if you want to use him, go for it. But, This is where you're getting into broke territory. It's gonna get a bit rough. It's gonna get a bit rough. Now let's go into slot 3. Let's go into slot 3, which is Quincy Hart. And it is Noitora or Ichigo. Noitora should be decent enough. Like, he does have increased chance. He has Berserker. He has all that stuff. He has all the essentials. He has a Last Rate, Guard Break, Berserker, Complete Status Immunity, Frenzy 2, increased chance against Mind Attribute enemies, damage to Last Rate enemies of 60%, and an SP boost of 80%. So, I mean, he's good enough. But Ichigo is obviously going to be the #1 character. I wonder if he's going to be rerunning soon. He might. It has been 3 months, so he could end up rerunning as well. Quincy Killer Plus, Strong Attack Recharge Time minus 14%, Weaken Plus on all of his strong attacks, and then he has the 100% SP boost on his EX skill, so we can get like a 360% SP boost in total, which is insane. Enemy defeated bonus, defeat 20 enemies and you get an increased 20% melee damage. Defeat 40, you get strong attack recharge minus 15% for your entire team. Defeat 60, you get 60% devastation, and then after you defeat 80, it's a whole nother soul bomb. Then he has the sprinter and the long stride, so you don't even have to worry about giving him long stride, which is amazing. Just give him more damage. Increased strong attack damage of 60%, complete status immunity, Frenzy of 3, Debilitator, increased chance against Quincy's, weakened defense, Poise Break, and then he has the SP boost of 80%. He is just an absolute monster. Absolute monster. So yeah, that is that area. So let's just take off the attribute, since I don't think that matters too much. So for Quincy killers, more characters you could use is Retsu, Future Society Okiura, Ichibei, I guess, but then I feel like though the main one that people are going to be using as a alternative is going to be Thousand Year Blower Ishin if you don't have Ichigo. Ishin is an absolutely insane character. He's also filler on this end of month banner, so if you summon, hopefully you get this guy if you don't have Ichigo, because he's absolutely insane. And he's also just a really good mind character in general, so hopefully you just pull him in general. He has a soul trait of 40% SP boost, Last Rate and Burn on all of his strong attacks, including his Soul Bomb, except it's Last Rate and Weakening. He has Sprinter, Weaken Resistance, which I don't know the status summons actually burn on the ground. So for Ishin, you're going to have to watch out for the status summons, unfortunately. That actually really sucks. Increased strong attack damage of 50%, Rampage of 2%, so every single kill, you get an extra 2% damage, going all the way up to 100%. And then you have Frenzy plus 2, Debilitator, increased chance against heart attribute enemies. So unfortunately he's not going to take advantage of this. I thought he would, but I forgot he has heart attribute instead of just Quincy's. So a little bit more RNG. He has weakened defense and then an SP boost of 120% in total, 80 in his skills, and then 40 from his link. So he's still an absolutely insane character. Absolutely insane character. But then, I mean, if you really want to, you could take this off and just go for heart characters, just like how we did in slot 2. So maybe you have Byakuya, right? So in slot 2, or for slot 3, you could just use a heart character. So like Tsushika, Ichigo, since I guess they're Quincy, so he wouldn't actually do that well against the sides. I had that backwards. The bosses, I think he would do fine. There's no bosses. What am I talking about? This is not Guild-Quest. This is not Guild-Quest. Maybe you could use Kyogre. Completely forgot about Kyogre. I can't lie. Bruno, yet again. Hollow Bankai Toge, Baruka, and then, yeah, obviously, Ichigo, if you have him. What is this Stark again? Is he a NAD unit? He's a farmer, right? Yeah, he's a farmer. So, I mean, he could do well. He has basically everything, so I honestly forgot he even existed. So he might be a decent option if you have him. I just don't think anyone even summoned for him. For some reason, I thought he was a NAD character. Am I missing anything? I probably am. But I think that's going to be about it for the video. It is 20 minutes long. So slot 1, if you don't have Sun, probably going to end up using Gremmy, if I had to guess. Because you go to Hollow Killers, it's basically Gremmy, Magetsu, or Yuha. Those are the main 3. I guess you could use Aethan and Ichigo, but he doesn't have increased chance, so I don't think it's gonna be that great. And then slot 2 is either Byakuya, or like Hollow Bankai Tosh is an alternative. You know, maybe you could go True Shikai Ichigo, Kyogei, something like that. It's pretty rough if you don't have Byakuya, I can't lie. He's like, oh wait, if you actually go Human Killer, forgot. If you go Human Killer, you could use Driscoll or Soifun. Those would probably be the other 2 alternatives, actually. Whoopsies, forgot that it's Human Killer. And then slot 3 is obviously going to be Ichigo or Ishin. Like, those are going to be the main 2. Meninas is fine, Retsu is fine. I just think that these 2 characters are just far superior in terms of the Quincy Killer attribute or affiliation. So, yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I will probably end up using Gremmy, Byakuya, and Ichigo, depending on if I don't end up pulling Sun somehow, because I am summoning for Mila Rose. But yeah, take care, peace out. Hope you guys have an absolutely amazing day. Ciao.